Hi, I'm Dave Epstein and welcome to our November calendar. And today we're going to talk about things centered around your vegetable and herb gardens around the house. We're going to keep you gardening through the month of November. Even in the coldest climates, I'm going to give you a few tips on what you can do to keep things fresh, perhaps adding a few fresh things from the garden, even for Thanksgiving. One of the things I like to do is what's called extend the season. And in order to do that, you may think, what's that white stuff he's got in front of him? This is called row cover. Row cover is a material that helps protect the plants underneath against the cold weather of the night before. So row cover has different weights. Some weights will protect the plants down to 22, 23 degrees. Other row cover only is used to protect it against insects. It lets more light through, but also lets more air through. We're using a medium weight here to protect some of the beans against the cold from last night. We were down in the low 30s last night. This protected it. You can see, as I lift this up, everything looks fantastic underneath. If I hadn't used the row cover, then I would have had a problem with the beans. They would have probably died. Other crops don't mind the cold so much. So this is a great time of the year to plant things like kale, collards. You can even plant a quick shot of radishes if you're in some of the warmer climates, say south of zone 8. Some of the crops from the summer still look fantastic, if not a little bit better, like the Swiss chard. We've got our rainbow Swiss chard going really well, and that looks beautiful right now. You can see all the reds, the yellows, the whites, those beautiful stems, wonderful for cooking. What else looks pretty good this time of the year? Well, the choy, so the Asian greens, they are doing well in the garden later in the season. The garden is still going. We've got carrots going. We planted these carrots back in September, and through November, they'll still be growing. We'll cover them with a little bit of mulch, and that means that we'll be able to harvest these carrots perhaps as late as December. So November is a pretty critical month for me to plant outside still. Now I'm zone 6 and you may be thinking, wait a second, why are you planting in November? Well, as you can see inside, we've started lots of different plants. We've started some lettuces, some choy, some mizuna, and all of these plants are going to go outside behind me underneath those hoops. I'll cover the hoops with plastic. We'll put the vegetables there. We'll take out the beans and some of the other warmer weather crops like the basil, and what you see growing now inside will go outside. That extends the season. By using row cover and greenhouse plastic, we're able to grow well through Thanksgiving. So we've told you about a few things to keep your vegetables going in November. Another thing you can keep going is something like parsley. For some of you, the parsley can stay outside all winter long. It will winter over. Other folks who are in much colder climates, say zone 5, 4, 3, you might want to put some parsley in a pot, put it on a sunny window, and leave it inside. This parsley's been going since October a year ago, and it's still going. We leave it out in the summer, we bring it in the winter, we enjoy fresh parsley 12 months a year. So some of you have asked, how do you keep your rosemary wintered over? Again, depending on where you are, it can winter over outside in some of the cooler, drier climates. Remember, rosemary is really a Mediterranean plant. In the colder, damper climates, I tend to take the rosemary inside, but I don't bring it in the house. I put it in the garage. By putting this container of rosemary in the garage, covering it with that row cover I showed you, I can keep the rosemary going 12 months a year. When you move it into the garage, it can't dry out 100%, but you want to leave it on the drier, not wetter side. If you can keep your rosemary going right through November, make a couple of clips, makes a great garnish on that Thanksgiving plate. So there you go, a lot of tips around gardening, herbs and vegetables during the month of November. For many of you, it's becoming a winter month, but you can still keep things going with just a few of these tips. Come back every week for all of our tips here at Growing Wisdom.